Up front on the Voice of America, my name is Jackson Vunganyi. Thank you, all of you, for joining us today. We are going to have a really quick conversation about what is happening in Liberia with my friend Laraamand Nyonton. So, Liberia has been in the news lately. The story of the disappearance of over $100 million of Liberian money, which is equivalent to 5% of the GDP, money that was supposed to be printed, was printed in Sweden and was supposed to go to the central bank. In between the process of being transported from Sweden to Liberia, it got lost, it disappeared. What do you know about that situation, about the investigation that are ongoing?
Well, the news was first broken by the local media, and hats up to Front Page Africa, Rodney C. and Philemon. And in their story, it was alleged that this money was cleared from the free port of Monrovia, the port of entry, in March. The government of Liberia...
So March this year, 2018.
Yeah, in 2018. As it stands, there are so many conflicting reports on the exact amount. Some reports have it as 15 billion printed Liberian banknotes.
Which is equivalent to how much in dollars, US dollars?
It's anywhere around 100 and 120 United States.
It's also a little fishy, just to cut you short, that we do not know the exact amount, like exact figure. And I mean, if the central bank or whoever the authority is in requesting for the printing, the ordering of printing of these banknotes, should have the information on how much money was ordered.
There should be a lot of paper trail to that. And to speak to the government-owned level of intervention that they have launched an investigation into it. And this brings me to my own personal position on the entire matter. I think the government of Liberia should own up to the responsibility on the ongoing saga. And the reason why it is important for them to own up is they have all of the answers to tell the Liberian people, all right? Shifting blame to the past administration will not help.
So you're saying the current president of George Weah should take responsibility and find out where the money is and be answerable to the people of Liberia. So, we should mention that there was a protest that took place in Liberia about a couple of days ago, people demanding for answers.
Ordinary Liberians are demanding for answers. If you watch the different trends on Facebook and the different narrative, you realize that it is not just maybe opposition political parties or those in line of advocacy within the civil society, ordinary Liberians, some professionals that do not even have any dealing with politics. Liberians from all walks of life want to know exactly what's happening to the money. They want the government of Liberia to go to the bottom of this and to make sure that the investigation is not smoky. All right, from what we've seen so far, we've seen that the government of Liberia has not been able to own up to the responsibility. They set up a committee in early August. That committee was not announced to the public until September 17, before they came over the first public statement. That raises eyebrow. It asks people have more questions than answer. So I think it is their responsibility to be clear. And in my mind, I think they have not really been honest to the Liberian people. They've been dishonest. They've been less transparent. Because if you have a critical national issue involving the billions of dollars saga, why are you withholding the information? And why are you holding fire to it? I think it is about time.
Do you think there should be public hearings about this matter in Liberia?
There should be public hearings. All right. It should not even rest only in the case of the local security apparatus. All right. I understand that they invited the FBI and the United States Department of Treasury. All right. I think we need experts. We need forensic experts on the team. We need forensic psychologists, people who can look at you, and if you're giving a testimony, they know you're telling a lie or truth. We need certified fraud examiners, even from both local and international level. The inclusion of the Federation of Liberian Youth, the Liberian National Student Union, the religious community, they are good, but I don't think, given all of the capacity gap for this institution, I don't think it's the right approach that the government has taken.
5% of any country's GDP just disappearing in thin air without any traces or any answers from the government, that should be worrying. Does it worry you that there other things that happen, there are other resources in Liberia that belong to the Liberian people, because this money belongs to the people, belongs to the central bank, which belongs to the people. Does it worry you that the other resources that were mismanaged, that we were not able to see? Does this kind of open a Pandora's box to kind of examine where other resources are? What must have been lost at what point?
Well, we cannot speak to the mismanagement of other resources at this point because we do not have sufficiency of information.
But does it worry you that there is possibility that a lot of...
Yes, it does. And I'm sure it worries every other well-meaning Liberian who wants to see the advancement of their country. All right, and this is why Facebook and other social media have really been training. Liberians are actually speaking up with one message: bring our money back, launch the investigation, let the investigation be credible, tell the Liberian people, clearly articulate all of the different steps leading or going through the process of the investigation. Because I tell you this, right? It is not just 5% of our gross domestic product. It also accounts for 1/3 of our national budget. So that is not a small amount we are talking about. Absolutely. So the government needs to step up this game. It has to stop this attack and blame, tactics, blaming the opposition for manufacturing the narrative that we have up there and attacking the former president on the basis of her involvement with a past official. They need to get to the bottom of this. Liberian people are only asking for their money because it is an amount that can do a whole lot, tremendously, a whole lot.
Absolutely.
I mean, in terms of our educational system, you all know what happened in the healthcare system.
Right.
So this is something that we need to move. And the third point I would like to make, we have to send our kudos, bravo to all Liberians that have been very involved with the dissemination of information, with the
demanding of accountability,
the lightening of campaigns that we have seen from ordinary students from universities who staged the most peaceful protest in the history of modern Liberia. And that was a kudos to the students and all of the Liberians that joined them in that process.
Let me ask you about what you understand of the disappearance of that money. Where do they say the money went?
Well, if you listen to the different accounts, you realize that there's a lot of smoke in the air, right? Now, just a few days ago, the chairman of the current ruling party alluded that if he were asked to testify in the ongoing investigation, he would say exactly what happened to the money, all right? He said further that the money was shared among few government officials of the past regime. Where did he get the information? We don't know. I think it is incumbent upon the Special Presidential Investigative Committee to invite the chairman of the ruling party who has prior information before this information came to the public there. The National Legislature should also establish and institute an independent legislative probe into the matter. What is
an investigation into what is happening, into where the money is.
Yeah, I understand.
Because somebody knows something.
Somebody somewhere knows something. And all we see right now is a whole cycle of blaming and blame you, all right? Counter blames are all over the place. It's almost like they have reduced the whole debate into the past government versus the present government. And
what is the timeline on, or what is expected of this committee or the commission that was instituted by President Weah to look into this matter?
Well, to date, we have not seen the term of reference of this committee. We have not seen the comprehensive composition of the committee. We do not know who chaired this committee. The committee has no timeline. And this is where we come in, that the government will have to take responsibility, take ownership. The country image has been dragged to the mud. It's inevitable. The Liberia's integrity is on a serious attack by all of the different narratives on international media, on Facebook by Liberians. So the government needs to be proactive. We need answer, but beyond having answer, make public the committee, all right? There's no investigative committee that does not have a head.
Right. I mean, continuing to hide this and, hiding this under a cloak of investigation without being transparent further increases suspicion on how the process is going and whether somebody is hiding something and then where that person is placed in the chain of command and whether if they're able to hide this, what else are they hiding? That which is, for me, another very important issue. Laraamand Nyonton, we want to thank you for coming in today to try and give context to our listeners in Liberia and elsewhere in Africa.
Saga Oh sister, I know be your rider. Give me one chance, make I be a fighter, provider. Toto for my man, make I be a pasta. Meaning Jumuti, make I be a sponsor.